Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Conversations with Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com and also on YouTube. We are back for another great episode of Conversations with Richardson, and we're talking about a very serious topic today, man. Something that happened a few months back concerning Mr. Carmelo Anthony, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, and Mr. Metcalf, two young men who were involved in the altercation, and Carmelo Anthony stabbed Mr. Metcalf, and unfortunately, Mr. Metcalf passed away due to his injuries, and Mr. Anthony's family and himself pleaded self-defense, and nonetheless, Mr. Anthony is currently serving a 35-year sentence due to this horrible, horrible incident. And we had a lot of backlash going on in the community from both sides, saying that Mr. Carmelo deserved the punishment that he got, and it's a lot of racial issues and different things going on. And I brought in 4 guests. I have 2 calling in from Texas, close to where the incident happened, and they go by the name of Miss Sherry Smith and Mr. Arthur Fleming. They are 2 community activists, and I also have 2 very special guests in the studio, Mr. Anthony Thomas of Crescent Addiction and Recovery, and Miss Latoya Buckner, local community member who's always on my show supporting Conversations with Ron Richardson to express their thoughts and opinions on this horrible situation. So, Miss Sherry Smith and Mr. Arthur Fleming, are you there?
We're here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How you
morning.
doing?
How are you? How are you? And Mr. Anthony Thomas and Miss Latoya Buckner. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
How have you guys been?
Good.
Blessed.
Glad to have y'all back, man, as always. So, Mr. Fleming and Miss Sherry Smith, I want you to introduce yourself to my listening audience and tell the people who you are and what we're talking about today. So take it away.
Go ahead, Sherry. You go first.
Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Sherry Smith. I'm a radio journalist, but I'm also a community activist. And I've kind of been following this story rather closely because of some of the oddities of it. And so I'm glad to have the opportunity to kind of talk about it and what we can do as communities around the country to rectify some of what happened in this particular trial.
Of course. Mr. Fleming?
And my name is Arthur Fleming, past president of NAACP Dallas, longtime activist, Air Force veteran of Vietnam, and a study of history.
All right, man. I brought you 2 in because, me and Sherry talk all the time. We always talk about different issues that are going on in our community, and I want you guys to give the breakdown of the case. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce let my other 2 guests introduce themselves, Mr. Anthony Thomas and Miss Latoya Buckner. So, ladies first. Latoya.
Hello, my name is Latoya Buckner. I am a citizen of New Orleans. I am also a mother of 3, and a very vocal person in the community.
And thank you again for inviting me today, Ron. My name is Anthony Thomas. I'm a chief operating officer for an addiction facility and mental health facility.
All right.
And I'm more so an advocate for that community. So I'm the voice for those people.
All right, man. Glad to have you back as well. So, Mr. Fleming, I'm going to let you start this off, man, because this is a very, very unusual case. Some people feel it's cut and dry. Some people feel that this young man is guilty of murder.
Yeah.
But there are so many situations and so many issues surrounding the case that led up to this. Personally, I think it's way out of line, and I think that this should have been handled better by the justice system as a whole. So what are your thoughts?
Well, for those of us that live in this area, Cotton County has a reputation. Cotton County is bumped right up next to Dallas County.
Yes, sir.
But they have a reputation when it comes to black folks and particularly black men getting in jail over in that county. They are known for what they did with that young man. And so in a way, it's kind of a blessing. There's always something good and everything. It's kind of a blessing that now a national light has been shined on that county.
Yes.
Now, since that time, since the incident, the press conference, and so forth, the judge that presided over the case, he has resigned his position. So the heat is coming, and I think that when it's all said and done, we're going to get the young man out, because that was straight up kangaroo situation. That I see how they, you saw it on TV how they used to do it back in the day, just bring you in, run you through, and then put you in jail. That's what they did with this young man. Right. His attorneys were the same attorneys that, if you remember the Bolton Jean case and the officer that killed him, those attorneys worked her case are the attorneys that were put on this family. So it was a setup from the beginning, and but now he has a new team,
right?
And so we're confident that he's going to get out at some point. I mean, I'm confident that he'll get out at some point.
Yes.
Sherry Smith.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm in agreement with Arthur. For me, just looking from a judicial standpoint, I thought that a lot of things should have been addressed by the defending attorney. That was not. For one, and to me, the biggest red flag was that the judge, the prosecuting attorney, and the father of the young man who was killed were all friends. And I just thought that was a conflict of interest. I thought that perhaps the judge should have recused himself from this because he was so closely related to it. And because he was so closely related to it, he allowed some things to happen in the courtroom that were detrimental to the defense team from the very beginning. And I just thought that those were things that they should have been looking at before they even went to trial. I don't think that the judge or the prosecutor could have been as impartial as they could have, and particularly the defense attorney was actually kind of works under that prosecuting office. So I just thought there were a lot of things that were amiss that for some reason the judge did not address as he needed to.
The big thing that sticks out in my mind is, when you look at the video footage, Carmelo, basically kept saying, "Look, man, back up, leave me alone." And, Mr. Metcalf still kept provoking the issue. So in that situation, what was that young man supposed to do?
Well, and two, you have to get the facts straight. And I think that's another issue as far as getting the facts straight, because the judge allowed media into the courtroom, a certain media, but only 3 places were reserved for media that dealt with our communities. And then the rest was mainstream media. So you really heard their story versus our ability to be able to do stories. And then they put gag orders on and the whole 9 yards. So as Mr. Fleming said, I think a lot of this was planned out, so to speak. I mean, it's just the normal run-of-the-mill business that they do in this particular county, that you're not going to – I thought they should have moved the venue, because there was no way that this young man was going to get a fair trial there. First of all, the story was that Carmelo got under their tent and they told him to leave, and he didn't, as though he was the aggressor, when in fact Austin Metcalf was actually the aggressor. And Carmelo only went under their tent because he knew a runner from their track team, and that track person invited him under the tent because he was trying to get out of the rain. And then he said to the young man, the crazy weather we're having, huh? But now, Mr. Metcalf, this is the other thing that people do not know. Austin Metcalf was not even supposed to be at that particular track meet. He had been dismissed from his team for bullying.
Really?
Period. So, and the coach only called him that morning to come back and run and said, you need to come back and be a leader because you are the leader. I think if you just use common sense, first of all, the knife that they keep talking about was a little Swiss knife. This is a knife that if you run track, and you wear cleats, sometimes your cleats get jacked up, and so you have to get the dirt and mud and whatever out from under. That was the size of the knife. It was a little Swiss knife, and they only talked about the knife being in the child's backpack. They never said what else was in his backpack. The child had a cross, and he had a crossword puzzle book. So, they never looked at Carmelo as a human. They never looked at.
Well,
Go ahead.
but the main issue is that all that you just talked about, it was never introduced into the case. It was never introduced to the jury, and so that's what the main problem. The main problem was the facts were never introduced, and then it goes back to the attorneys that I'm telling you about that he wound up with, and there's some controversy as to how he wound up with those attorneys, and that's a whole other issue. But since that time, we've had a situation. This is what I didn't know. I didn't know that. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Charleston White. Have y'all heard of him?
Yes.
If you have,
yes.
Now I know he was over in Fort Worth with you, Sherry.
Yes, he is.
but after the incident happened, he came out, apologized and so forth. And then if anybody know this guy, you wouldn't be believing any of that anyway. Anyway, he came out doing all this apologizing and then talking all this noise and so forth and so on. The next thing you know, he's online setting Carmelo Anthony watermelon T-shirts. And so, and now since that time, now people went and did a deep dive on him. Got the video where he's a Fort Worth informant. Straight up. Now, but I tell people this: if you ever watch this show, he told you, he said on his show, "I'm a snitch. I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna." I mean, he says all of that, and folks looking at this man think, well, that's just entertainment.
Right.
No, he's real about what he's saying, and so I think cautionary tale is for people that's online these days, because it's a whole new community. You got to discern entertainment from a sellout, and so I think that you got people like him that have kind of act. And since that time, the dad also he went online and had a 3-hour rant where he talked
and very
all
racist,
kinds of stuff.
very racist.
Yeah, and after he got through talking about Charleston White, next thing we know, Charleston White came out with selling watermelon T-shirts. Because he talked noise to Charleston White on the thing, too. So Collin County is a dirty county, and I'm just glad that the world is getting a look at him.
All right, so Mr. Fleming, I'm going to put you on pause for a minute because one of my in-studio guests, Miss Buckner, she looks like she wants to interject. What are your thoughts, LaToya?
Well, my thoughts I have two thoughts. Number one, as a mother, and as a mother who has buried a child due to a different circumstance. But it is not okay that this person lost their life. We get that part.
Yeah.
Okay?
No. Yeah.
We get that part. And when someone takes someone's life, you are supposed to get what you get, right?
Yeah.
Now, the fact that it wasn't done fair is the problem. Okay.
Yes.
On top of that, now in this country, we have a huge racism issue that has surfaced all over again. And it is so bold and so brazen to the point where they're saying whatever they like. They're making T-shirts. They're making examples out of any black man, for one, at any time they feel like it, okay? So I am glad that he has new counsel, because when I first heard about it, okay, I don't know much about how the courtroom works, but I do know this part, and let me know if this is true. Counsel chooses who is on the jury, right? They go through this thing where
that's the way it's supposed to work.
Right. So if everybody is friends, and the judge, the bailiff, everyone in the courtroom
is biased.
Thank you.
Yes.
So where was the person to say this is a problem? I'm just surprised, no one said anything in the beginning of the trial.
Well, see, and this is where the judge should have recused himself and the prosecutor.
Right.
The gentleman who was defending Carmelo works under their auspices. So every time the defending attorney tried to say something, the judge would say either I'm going to allow it or I'm not. I mean, even when it came down to choosing the jury, for instance, there were 3 black, highly educated educators sitting on that jury at first. And then the prosecutor removed them because he said that he didn't think that they would be impartial enough to, first of all, give life sentence, because that was part of the what could be as part of the punishment. And secondly, that they were educators, and because they worked in a school and because this happened at a school, they didn't think that they could be fair. Now, mind you, there were actually 4 educators on the jury. One was a person who was an instructor at a cosmetology school, and then the other ones were in school systems. If you're going to say you're removing teachers because they work at a school, all 4 of those individuals should have been removed. But all they did was remove the 3 African American ones. That was another red flag for me. And then when every time your defense attorney is putting up something, if you work under the prosecutor's office, then they're going to know exactly what you're going to try and defend this child on. So they're already going to be ready to knock that down, as well as the judge backing them to do that. So as Mr. Fleming was saying, this was rigged from the beginning. As a matter of fact, we had a female prosecutor who was sitting in the courtroom, and when it was all over, she came out and she spoke because, remember, again, there was a gag order for a little while. But she said that was really a judicial lynching, and that is exactly what happened in that courtroom, a judicial lynching. Nothing was fair about that. They didn't even look at the young man as a human. They didn't look at his merit. What they saw was they were running with the story that it was a knife. No one ever said it was such a small knife. They just made it seem, they just blew the details out of proportion to make this young man look bad. And not once did they look at the merit, that he was a straight A student, that he was a model citizen, that he was a Christian, that he worked 2 jobs to help with his family. They looked at none of that. They did not see that young man as a human being. And that is the problem when it comes to us in the judicial system.
Let's bring in Mr. Arthur Fleming. Go ahead.
Let me say something to the young lady that she was saying about the racism and about them doing whatever they want to do. First of all, the racism has always been there. Donald Trump just allowed it to come out.
I wanted to say that.
But this is an opportunity. But this is not. Look here, I'd rather see them like it is now, where everybody can see it, versus everybody pretending that it's not there.
Yes.
So now we can actually do something about it, which is why I created the organization BlackBlockVote.net, where we can develop our political power independent of the Democratic and Republican Party. With our agenda attached, we can aim at both of them. We're going to have to become we're going to become swing voters mentally, because see, we can't see our full power as long as if our power is parked in the Democratic Party. So again, the racism has always been there. Now you can just see it in the open. Nobody's pretending anymore. So actually, that just means that we're in a change time. So the old America's dead. It's not coming back, and I don't want it back. And so we need to be focusing on ourselves, building up the new America that's coming.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about your organization, Mr. Fleming.
Well, basically BlackVote.net is about, and again, it's a concept I've written. I've did some articles on it some years back. Basically, the concept is that black folks, we ain't broke, we colonized. We're the 14th largest nation in the world as far as economically. And so what we need to do is access that economic power. And the way we do that is access our political powers, which means we need to develop our vote independent of these parties. Because, see, all they're going to do is throw us in that POC bag with everybody else and then everybody else gets stuff but us.
All right, hang tight because we got to go to our first break. All right, I want you to come back with that thought. This is Conversations with Ryan Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. Hit us up, 504-582-9422. Got a full panel of guests talking about the Carmelo Anthony verdict and case. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Sherry Smith for Redefining Ability. When we talk about Black men's mental health, we can't skip the part about disability, visible and invisible. Depression, PTSD, chronic pain, learning disabilities, they're real in our communities, but too often they're told to man up or pray it away. That's not meeting them where they are. Black men are diagnosed with schizophrenia at higher rates, yet undertreated for anxiety and depression. They're more likely to have disabilities from violence, unsafe jobs, or lack of health care. And then stigmatism tells them silence equals strength. But strength is also this, asking for help. It's therapy. It's accommodations at work. It's saying, I'm not okay to your brother without shame. Mental health is help. Disability is part of their story. And community care means we make room for it all. No fixing, no judgment. Just show up. Sit with them. Walk with them. For more on redefining ability, you can email Ron at richardsonronald024@gmail.com. And remember, healing and recovery starts with you. This is Sherry Smith for Redefining Ability.
Hey family, Ron Richardson here, host of Conversations with Ron Richardson. If you're looking for quality catering and barbecue, you need to contact my friends at Kuzan's Catering and Barbecue Team. Mr. Eddie Bunch and Kuzan's have been serving the West Bank since 2013 with their quality selection of barbecue and seafood. If you're looking for quality catering, be sure to contact Kuzan's Catering, located at 618 Westwood Drive in Marrero, or you can go to kuzansonline.com for more information for all the services that they offer, or call 504-233-4227. Catering done the right way just for you. That's Kuzan's, baby.
New Orleans, you want to know what we're talking about? Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WBOK for Conversations with Ron Richardson. The topics will always be hot and the conversation will be all the way live. Meet us there. We'll save you a seat. We can also talk about you and your business as a sponsor of Conversations with Ron Richardson. Contact Ron at 504-874-4584 or email him at richardsonronald024@gmail.com for more details.
In a world full of content, standing out is everything, and that is where Mr. Byron Headley comes into play. If you need professional photography, cinematic video, or scroll-stopping video, it is time to give Byron Shoots in Motion a call so he can bring your vision to life, frame by frame. For more information, you can call Byron Headley at 346-365-4379. That's 346-365-4379. Or follow him on Instagram at Byron_shoots_in_-motion. Byron_shoots_in_-motion. Byron Shoots in Motion. Capture with purpose, delivered in motion. This is Ron Richardson with Redefining Ability. This week, we're talking about Black men and mental health. Mental health is an essential part of overall well-being for many Black men, yet it remains an overlooked and often stigmatized topic. While conversations about mental health have grown more common in recent years, Black men continue to face unique social, cultural, and systemic barriers that make seeking help difficult. I am speaking directly to all my brothers, and I am telling you to take charge of your mental health and open up about the issue that you may be going through. There is no shame in showing weakness or being vulnerable. This is Ron Richardson with Redefining Ability. For more information about Redefining Ability, you can contact me at richardsonronald024@gmail.com. richardsonronald024@gmail.com. And remember, healing and recovery start with you.
Are you looking for the next burlesque sensation? Searching for some prime entertainment on a Sunday night? Well, come down to the Always Lounge as Scarlett Letta presents Show Me Your Noobs. You'll see the finest new entertainers performing burlesque, drag, and a variety of acts that will tease, titillate, and delight you. We're here every third Sunday of the month. Come catch the most raved about show in New Orleans that no one has ever heard of until now. Show Me Your Noobs. It's the perfect night out, whether you're a burlesque regular or sharing your first time with us. Show Me Your Noobs will leave you breathless. For more information on Show Me Your Noobs, go to thealwayslounge.net.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com. You're listening to Conversations with Ron Richardson, live on WBOK and online at WBOK1230.com.
Welcome back. This is Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com and also on YouTube. Remember, guys, if you want to catch me on the go, catch me on the move, and see what I'm doing in my everyday life, you can follow me on Facebook. Just search for the Ron Rich or Ron Richardson Facebook page. You can also find me on Instagram at Ronald_Richardson_Jr. on Instagram and Ronnie_Richardson_Jr. on Instagram. Same name on TikTok, same name on LinkedIn, and same name on Substack. I couldn't get that out, but I got it. Nonetheless, man, we are back with my full panel of guests, Mr. Anthony Thomas.
Hello.
And Miss Latoya Buckner.
Hello.
And my two guests on the phone, Miss Sherry Smith and Mr. Arthur Fleming. How you guys holding up?
How you doing?
All right.
Good.
So we're talking about the 2026 case involving Mr. Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf was murdered, and I use that term with the uneasy feeling because there's so much surrounding this situation. We were talking about this before we went to break. There's so much surrounding this situation that it's just, so many irons in the fire and so many situations where it's like, wow, Mr. Fleming. But continue about your organization, please.
Basically, what we want to do is to now I'm a life member in NAACP also, but we want to do the things that the NAACP either can't or won't do. Right now, I'm a delegate to the National Convention in Chicago next month, and I'm very disappointed in my organization on the national level, simply because they're not highlighting, they're not leading, the way I think they should be in this moment. Like this particular case, I think we should have been more public with our observation of the case. We didn't see that. And this has been an ongoing problem with my national organization, and I intend to bring it to their attention next month. But what my organization wants to do is we want to do the things that the NAACP either can or want to, or go speak to the issues that they can't or want to. They could be a lot better organized than they are. We give them a lot of money, and there's a lot of technology, and for them not to, for instance, set up like a national complaint services base. They should be able to do that, but they're not doing that. And so I'm saying, it's just an example of one of my complaints. But my organization is about doing the things that some of the current civil rights organizations want or can do, because they've been basically bought out. For anybody that's listening, the reason you don't hear anything from our national organizations, any of them, is because during the Heritage Foundation, when they did their plan to take over the Supreme Court, they also had a plan for civil rights organizations where they were going to go in and do a similar thing. So look like they've been successful.
Right. And I think we need to realize. Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
What I was going to say is, man, it's disheartening because us as Black folk, we have a tendency to put our attention on partying and doing all these different things, right. And when it all boils down to it, and when situations like this happen, we tend to freeze up and we say, "Oh no, I'm not touching that because I don't want to be a part of it." And it's correct me if I'm wrong. You guys can interject anytime.
Well, Ron,
it's almost like selective outrage. We choose to be outraged about the different things that go on in the community. But Mr. Fleming?
Well, Ron, you're not trying to caution, the people that I work with and talk to. When we use the word "we," it kind of weakens everybody. Because first of all, I don't believe in quote we. I believe in some people.
Okay.
Some people and some people. Because when you do we, it discourages. I think that discourages the people that actually do the work. Because now, I'm just we. And so, and again, my position is when you hear people use we, they use it because they're not going to do anything. You have people who say, I'll start doing this when we all come together on one accord. There's no such thing as one accord.
Correct.
There is a chord.
Yeah.
There is a chord. You know what I mean? But any number of us could be on that one accord at any minute, and we could be off of the next minute. So for power's sake, say some people, because there's a lot of people that's doing the right thing, that's actually doing the work.
Right.
I have a question.
And I think we need to realize, too, that we are under attack, period. And this is not just in Texas. This is not just in Louisiana. I mean, just like we have Carmelo Anthony here, I was listening to your show a little while back. You guys have Frederick Brisby there, the young man, his fight for his freedom. He was put in prison at 18. And in that case, my understanding is that someone came and confessed that they did the actual killing, yet they still held this young man for 22 years. He's still fighting for his freedom. So we have to come together, not we, some people have to come together, and we have to get a plan that's going to work for us. Dr. King said many, many years ago that, and I agree with Arthur, it's not about being a Republican or being a Democrat. You're an African-American person first. You're Black first. So what you need to do on both sides of this fence is to make sure that those entities are doing what you need to be done in your community, and we're the ones who have to tell them that. They're not going to just come and ask us. So we're going to have to put it before them and say, this is what we need to do. And it starts with your vote, not just at the national level. You need to be voting at your local level, because those things are going to impact you before the national stuff does.
Exactly. Since everybody's in a different place in their life, we tend to think everybody's in the same space when it comes to power. And we got to understand that. And we got to understand that different people have different understandings at different times. And so, and we have to understand too that this nasty legal system we're talking about has always been like this. It has never been different. It has always been like this, never been different. And I think a lot of mistake that a lot of us make is that we act like it was actually not like that at some point, and we want to be surprised that it's like that. We can't do that. You got to start with, it's always been like that. It's never been different. How can we make it different?
Mr. Fleming, I'm gonna put you on pause for a second, because Latoya had something that she wanted to ask either you or Sherry.
So I'm going to ask the honest question, and I would like you to try and answer as honestly as you can. What exactly did the NAACP say?
Well, from my understanding, and I just learned this the other day. Now, when we talk about what Collin County is and how they are, they actually have an NAACP chapter, the local chapter there. My understanding, and I just heard this from a friend the other day, because the woman who heads that chapter, she said that they reached out to the Anthony family, but they were told that they already had counsel and they already had a community activist working for them. The woman then said to them, we have a list of attorneys that could help you, and that could be what the new team is about, is from that list she had. But they did say to the Anthony family, we have attorneys that are willing to help you. If you've already said you have your defense attorney, you've already got your activist, if we can still be of any help to you, please let us know. And they never heard from the Anthony family again.
Okay, so at that point they backed away.
Let me tell you the story. Well, let me tell you what happened before that. Okay, before the activist Dominique Alexander, which I had to put on blast. Anyway, okay, before him, they had black attorneys. I know a couple of them. They had black attorneys at the beginning. Okay, Dominique Alexander, who's in Dallas County, went to Collin County and talk these people into using these racist attorneys. And that's the next thing they had been replaced. So there was a
Right.
whole lot of game being played before the game. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
And now I don't know what part. I don't know what part. Charles White say he was in it some kind of way. So but anyway, it was kind of messy. But anyway, but they talked the family out of the black attorneys
Yeah.
and into these two white racist attorneys, and that's why we say, and I put him on blast online. I said, Dominique, are you satisfied now?
Wow.
Carmelo after got 35 years in jail. So
Yeah.
and then so folks start talking to him. So he did a press conference since then trying to make up, but basically.
So
We have people like
Mr.
him and
Fleming,
Charleston White.
I want to ask you this before you finish your thought. When you put him on blast online, did he respond?
Yeah, he responded.
What was his response?
Well, his response was, he was trying to make it like I was challenging his organization. What I told him was, I said, my point is, you're not qualified to go to families and give them any kind of advice in murder situations. We had a situation here where the NAACP, we were working with the young lady that got put in jail for voting. We were working with her, keeping her out of jail. He came and got her from us with his organization, and next thing you know, she was in jail. And so that's the second time he did that. And so my point is, you're not qualified. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be getting into people's lives like that, bringing people into people's lives when you have no expertise in any of it. And so he did. And so, again, so that was his last response. So I haven't heard back from him anymore.
It sounds like money is involved. In
Oh,
my
you
opinion.
better believe. You better believe.
Either he got paid or he's stupid. One of the two.
Yeah, and then that's the thing with some of our folks here in Dallas who want to be seen. Dominique Alexander in particular. Dominique, I agree with Arthur. He's not an expertise. He's not an expert as far as how this process is going to work, particularly against us. And the idea that you think someone not of our race is going to defend us better than someone who is of our race is a problem for me as well. We are.
Well, let's see who Dominique is, so she can kind of understand who he is. It just happened when I became president. That's when that's when his organization started, and so I was at a first press conference. I later found out that the white lady that helped him start it was an ex-police officer from Oklahoma. And so after that, I come to find out that he had all this, he had this legal stuff, shaking babies or some kind of stuff he had in his background. And so anyway, so to make a long story short, fast forward, we did this walkout high school thing. He jumps up, grabs the bullhorn. A few days later, they arrest him for all this other stuff I'm telling you about. 3 days later, after they arrested him, he was out of jail with no charges. Now, when you see stuff like that happen, you know what that is, don't you?
That's right.
You know what that is when you done got a deal.
Yeah.
And the deal works like this. Okay, you go ahead and do whatever you're going to do. But when I need you to do what I need you to do, I need you to do it. That's how I go. And so that looked like one of those deals. And I say that because like they put a cop city here in Dallas. Okay, he's supposed to be an activist in Dallas, but he ain't said a word about Cop City. He ain't said a word.
Hit us up, man. 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422 if you want to talk to myself or my panel of guests here on Conversations with Ryan Richardson. We're talking to Mr. Arthur Fleming, Sherry Smith, and I also have two of my great co-hosts in studio with me this morning, Mr. Anthony Thomas from Crescent Addiction and Recovery, and community member Miss Latoya Buckner with y'all. Starting with you, Mr. Fleming, Mr. Arthur, tell the people where they can get in contact with you if they want to find out more information about what you have going on.
You can basically go to blackblockvote.net. That's blackblockvote.net. You can catch me on Facebook. That's right now where I'm parking myself. And we're developing a site. We envision ourselves being a place where you can come and get information that's vetted for Black people, and to get business information about Black people. So we're developing all that. And again, blackblockvote.net, or you can call me at 214-766-6358.
You know, with everything going on, with this case, you know, where do we go from here? You know, what do we do now? Because
This
we
is an
all know
opportunity.
racism is blatant. You know, and you know, people are making it known that they don't like you because of
Right.
your skin color. I mean, it's out
They
in the
don't hide
open.
it
You look
anymore.
at Facebook, you look at all these things online, and I mean, these people are literally getting away with, I don't want to say
This
murder
is an
due to the
opportunity.
context of the show, but they're getting away with BS, so to speak. But
Hey,
go ahead.
Ron, they've been getting away with BS.
Yeah.
Ron, and again, let's
Just
quit being
exposing them
surprised.
more now.
They've been getting away with
Exposed.
BS. We just got them on camera now. That's the only difference. We got them on camera. Okay, that's the only difference. And so, again, I think we can go a lot further if we just say, okay, right now is right now. It's always been like that. Okay, how do I go from there? As long as we're in our surprise position, it's going to kind of hold us back. You know, just accept that that's what that is, and this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for parents to talk to their kids. It's an opportunity for us to kind of regain control, information-wise, with our youth and have those conversations. And everybody's going to learn about the reality of the justice system. And so there's some, sometimes, we got to go through something to get to something. We're going through this period where everything is changing. This is what's called a change period. This is the third Reconstruction. First one after Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, now this one. This is another chance for America to change. And so we, as African Americans, we the people of the book, Jesus is back and he is Black. So we are the ones going to be leading this change. So we just need to just know who we are and go ahead and do what we need to do. The system, we understand since the election, since we are delineating, that the system needs our energy. If our energy isn't in the system doesn't work. And so we need to know that that's our superpower. And so let's be conscious of that and act on it.
And Ron, let me jump on that too.
Of course.
That is the one thing we must understand is our power on all levels. African Americans spend more money than anybody else, so we have that economic power that author is always talking about. We need to use our money to the best of our advantages. Everybody else's community, their money stays in their community for their community stays for at least a week. Ours goes out in 24 hours. We got to stop doing that. We have to start putting our money where our mouth is, and that has to start from the local level on up. Those judges who are sitting on those courts and not doing anything to work towards your community, you need to look at that and say, okay, no, that's not going to work for us. It's just not going to work for us, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to vote. People when I hear someone say, well, my vote's just one vote and it doesn't count, I always counter that by saying, suppose something that was really important to our community didn't make it through by one vote, and that vote was yours because you thought your voice was too small to make a difference. It's not. Our voices together is what has brought us thus far. We know how to do this. I agree with Arthur. We're not surprised. We know how this works. We've been knowing how this works for a long time, and we've adapted to it. Now we're just going to reconstruct it. We have to reconstruct it at this point.
And Target was a huge example of that. Huge example.
Yeah, take it back to the Target situation. Yeah,
it is a ghost town.
Right.
in Target at this point.
And
They had no
it's
idea
And
how
that's
amazing.
much money we spent.
Right. And it's amazing because
exactly.
Essence last year, we coming up on
Hmm.
Essence. Wait, we got to go to break. I'm going to bring that thought back when we come back. Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK 1230.com. We got a full panel of guests in WBOK 1230 studios and Conversations with Ron Richardson. Sherry Smith, Arthur Fleming, Latoya Buckner, and Mr. Anthony Thomas, who's been quite quiet during the course of the show. But that's okay. We're going to get him to talk.
Good listening.
All right.
Good insight.
Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Ron Richardson here. If you are like me, that means you love the feeling of getting a fresh haircut and shave. If you do, then you should check out my friends Eddie and Dana Bunch at First Impressions Barber and Beauty Salon, specializing in hairstyles for men, women, and children. If you want to make a good first impression, you should check out First Impressions Barber and Beauty Salon, located at 618 Westwood Drive in Marrero, or call 504-341-6777. Remember, it's never too late to make that first impression at First Impressions Barber and Beauty Salon.
New Orleans, you want to know what we're talking about? Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WBOK for Conversations with Ron Richardson. The topics will always be hot and the conversation will be all the way live. Meet us there. We'll save you a seat. We can also talk about you and your business as a sponsor of Conversations with Ron Richardson. Contact Ron at 504-874-4584 or email him at richardsonronald024@gmail.com for more details.
Are you looking for the next burlesque sensation? Searching for some prime entertainment on a Sunday night? Well, come down to the Always Lounge as Scarlett Letta presents Show Me Your Noobs. You'll see the finest new entertainers performing burlesque, drag, and a variety of acts that will tease, titillate, and delight you. We're here every third Sunday of the month. Come catch the most raved about show in New Orleans that no one has ever heard of until now. Show Me Your Noobs. It's the perfect night out, whether you're a burlesque regular or sharing your first time with us. Show Me Your Noobs will leave you breathless. For more information on Show Me Your Noobs, go to thealwayslounge.net. In a world full of content, standing out is everything, and that is where Mr. Byron Hadley comes into play. If you need professional photography, cinematic video, or scroll-stopping video, it is time to give Byron Shoots in Motion a call so he can bring your vision to life, frame by frame. For more information, you can call Byron Hadley at 346-365-4379. That's 346-365-4379. Or follow him on Instagram at Byron_shoots_in_-motion. Byron_shoots_in_-motion. Byron Shoots in Motion. Captured with purpose, delivered in motion.
I'm Wendell Pierce. Thanks for making WBOK your station. WBOK.
Thanks for listening to Conversations with Ron Richardson, live on WBOK, and listen online at WBOK1230.com. Now, back to Ron.
Welcome back. This is Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com and also on YouTube. Remember, guys, you can find me on social media. Just search for me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'm new to Substack, finally getting the hang of Substack. And I also have an announcement that I want to bring to New Orleans and my listening audience. Unfortunately, this is going to be my last show today here at WBOK for a while. I'm going on a brief hiatus. So in the next few weeks, during the month of July, they will be having a special rebroadcast, Best of Conversations with Ron Richardson here at WBOK. I want to thank everybody here at WBOK for giving me the opportunity to, speak my voice, speak my piece. And I want to thank all my listeners and supporters and people who have supported the show over this past year. Now, like I said, I'm going on a brief hiatus. I'm going to be gone for a while, but I will be back, okay? But thanks to WBOK. Thanks to you, Anthony, for always coming down when I need you. Also, you, Latoya, and my new extended family, Mr. Arthur Fleming and Miss Sherry Smith. Thank you also for giving me the opportunity to work with you and you know, let your voices be heard on my show, and I'm always glad to do that for you. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nonetheless, man, uh, Mr. Fleming, you were saying something before the break. It was really profound. You were talking about, just our people and how we have to just continue to fight, basically.
Well, I try to tell people when the ones that say, well, what's the use, or that don't feel like fighting. I try to have them understand that a lot of people fought, knocked on doors that didn't open for them, but it opened for us.
Mm.
So
Yes.
we have to, fight for our kids like that. You shouldn't be fighting for a win today. You should be fighting for tomorrow. And so that's why I just try to get people to understand is that that at some point you got to understand that you're here to do what you need to do in the context of the struggle. This is our time to do what we're going to do this time. And so again, it's third reconstruction. When the change period, we can change the world. We don't have we ain't broke, we colonized. We don't have to go, and we don't need grants and loans. We got money in our pocket. 3% of it turns over in our community. We spend 97% of it outside. And so all we need to do is just consciously turn the money around, which is what we're doing now with the Asian economic transfer. And we need to apply it to other systems. And then again, and apply that and organize our block vote, our political power, and hook them up, and then we can get what we want.
Yeah.
Africa's rising, and we're rising with it.
I was a few weeks back. I was in a grocery store and standing behind an older guy who had to be in his 70s, and we just struck up a conversation about what's going on in the world today. And he looked at me and he said, "Young brother," he said, "the one thing I will say about this generation, because the three of us that are in the studio are roughly all around the same age, right?" He said, "Young brother," he said, "I love the way that you all stand up for what you believe and are fighting back for what you believe and are not lying down about the situations that are going on in the world." He said, "I admire, your generation because you guys," I can't say what he said on that, but he said, "You guys basically don't give a, and I was like, yeah." He just told me, he said,
Well, I describe y'all a different kind of way.
Okay.
I describe y'all as the generation that's me, because remember now, once we came out of segregation, into where we're in now, the indoctrination got worse because we went to school with them. At the same time, we got to learn more about their actual structure. So now, you guys, because I taught school for about 19 years, but you guys are getting, you're benefiting from that knowledge that we gained, even though our politicians lost their way. The kids. Okay, like for example, Israel, and I posted several things about this, where they had this meeting in Georgia, talking about the biggest threat to them at this point is black youth. Now, why is that? It's because the lie that they're perpetrating has been passed on from generation to generation, but we refuse to pass that on to this next generation. So you all know better, you know what I mean? And then plus you all have more access to information than we did back then. So I think that a lot of things work, and I love the fact that this generation, they were born to the technology, so they know what to do with it, and so all we need to do is just help them focus it. Just like the HBCUs, we got to get the HBCUs refocused. Right now, the HBCUs are being used by corporate America like a 3A farm team, right? Every year they come get the cream of the crop, get their intellectual capital. Then when they get smart enough to know they worth more, then they spit them out and go get a new crew. So we got to redirect all of that. You know, like the NAACP out of bounds. You know, if I want to tell them is y'all out of bounds. You know, you should have did that 10 years ago. If you saying out of bounds into HBCUs, that's one thing. But you're just saying out of bounds. And so, again, we need to, talk to our kids and have them understand how much power they actually have, and then show them how to exercise it. Because they don't know, they're kids. And so your generation, you're going to have to do that. Show them how to exercise power.
So before we get out of here, I'm going to kick it over to LaToya for the closing thoughts.
In using our money to buy into more black businesses and things like that. The thing I have about that is this. Yes, we should buy more from black businesses. But on the black business side, and I have to say this, we as black business owner have to conduct business better. Start on time, have better customer service, things of that nature. So you'll feel better about putting your money back into a black business. Sometimes you don't want to go to that business because they were supposed to open at 10 o'clock and it's 11.
All right, man.
And they're not answering the phone.
I hate to do this, but we got to go. And it's been real, New Orleans. I will see you in a month. Thank you, Miss Sherry Smith. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Thomas and Mr. Fleming. Thank you for your time also. This has been Conversations with Ryan Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. New Orleans, I will see you when I see you. Remember, healing and recovery start with you. Yeah.
WBOK online at